I'll be defining greatness, but I won't define it in words or define it in people. I'm assuming we all know who this person is. That's Chadwick Boseman. Most of us might know him from his most popular character or persona, which is a Black Panther. But I knew Chadwick Boseman through a movie he did, Thurgood Marshall. He played Thurgood Marshall in that movie. And then most of his life, his earliest performances or actings, he acted black men that are great. So he acted Jackie Robinson in 42, he acted James Brown in Get On Up, and then he acted Thurgood Marshall in Marshall. So he dedicated life to bringing life to people who had gone ahead and acting them out. But the peak of his career was when he acted in Black Panther. And then August 2020, we lost Chadwick. But the interesting thing was that we discovered that Chadwick acted most of these remarkable movies about battling cancer. And that was, for me, it was like, this guy, 2016, diagnosed with cancer. He didn't stop. He continued acting. He continued putting smiles on people's faces. He continued doing the thing that he knew how to do best. And eventually, when he gave up the ghost, I'm sure he left the world with his head up high. And then we're all celebrating for the greatness I brought to the world. So for me, greatness is Chadwick Boseman. This is Andrew Garfield in a movie. I love biopics a lot. And then that's why most of my greatness stories are coming from these biopic movies. So this is Andrew Garfield in Hacksaw Ridge. He acted Desmond Doss. Desmond Doss was an American soldier who fought in the Second World War. And the interesting thing was that Desmond Doss was a combat medic. The medical people in war, they cater to people that are wounded. And then he decided when he was enlisted on the army, that he wasn't going to carry firearms. They're going to war to fight. And he said, I am not bearing arms. I am a medic. I'm supposed to save lives. And then I don't think they're going to save lives. So there were a lot of, conversations around it, but he prevailed. And then he went to the war. In the war, it wasn't a good day for US in that particular battle. But after they retreated, when you lose, when you're in a war, you retreat. After everybody retreated, he stayed on the ridge, Hacksaw Ridge, and then single-handedly saved 50 to 100 soldiers. He saved them. He just, had a rope, one by one, pull them down or send them down. And then he did that over the night. And when I hear stories like this, I'm like, this guy went to war. This is true life story. Went to war. In the middle of the war, he didn't carry firearms. The only time he held a gun in that movie was when he went to use it to drag a wounded soldier out. Now, for me, greatness is Desmond Doss. This is Marie Curie, for those who are scientists here. Marie Curie is the first female Nobel Prize winner, the first person to win 2 Nobel Prize awards, and the only person to ever win 2 Nobel Prize awards in the same category, in science category. So she has Nobel Prize in physics and chemistry. For me, greatness is Marie Curie. This is one of my favorite characters of all time. This is Vini Pazienza. He's a boxer. I knew about him in the movie I watched about him, Bleed for Days, 2016 movie. And then Vini Pazienza had a life-threatening accident. He won a boxing match. He won a title, and then he was went out celebrating. But he had an accident. The accident affected his spinal cord at the level of the neck. As a physiotherapist by profession, or by study, not by profession, when you have a spinal cord injury at the level of the neck, it is as good as you can't walk again. Vinny Pazienza was told that he couldn't walk again, that he had to just manage himself. The best they could do for him was try to make him walk. But Vinny determined that he was going to go back to fight. Once after, with halo, this frame on his head, he was training against his doctor's advice. He trained for months, and then eventually, when the halo was removed, he went back to the ring to fight, and he won his first match. For me, greatness is Vini Pazienza. Through the stories of these great people, one thing is very constant, is the desire to do the incredible, an amazing and ridiculous self-belief. They don't see obstacles. All they see is, I can do this. They are mostly blind to reasoning. the only thing they're thinking about is, this is an obstacle in front of me, I have to climb it. The typical thing to do is you're a boxer, you're involved in an accident. I mean, just enjoy your life, work again, and bask in that. You're a medic, you're going to war, bear firearms, at least. And the funny thing is, Desmond Doss was one of the finest soldiers on training. Bear firearms and at least defend yourself while trying to save lives. But he was convinced in his faith that he didn't need firearms to save lives. It was what he wanted to do. Now, when I think of greatness, I've defined greatness in people. When I think of greatness, one thing stands out for me, which is how I end my talk. No matter how great you are, no matter how great your experts are, think of the greatest people around, the best people in sports, in academia, in movies. They have a lot of money from what they've done. They have a lot of influence. They have a lot of, they've amassed a lot of resources. But the incredible thing for me is how your greatness could pave way for other people. And in summary, no matter what you do you earn as a great person, no matter what you amass because of what you do, it is nothing compared to the sum total of people you influence. So when it comes to greatness, it is less about you. It is more about the people that it influences. Here we have Leslie Tebogo of Botswana and Julian Alfred of St. Lucia. During these last Olympics, they won their country's first ever Olympic gold medal. We all know Chioma Ajunwa, right? She lives long and eternally in the memories of in the history of Nigeria. Now, these guys, Leslie and Julian, they won their country's first Olympic gold. Now, think of the impact that would have on their countries. Think of how younger athletes in schools, they now think that they can be Olympians. They now think that they can win Olympic medals because someone has done it before. So when I think about greatness, I'm thinking about how a single act of greatness or a single moment of greatness would inspire people, inspire generations yet unborn to attempt something. Someone has done it before, then I can probably do it. And that for me is the most important thing about greatness. Now, as a roundup, this picture here, this is Cristiano Ronaldo, but that's not the story. During the last Euros tournament, Portugal, the Portuguese team, played the Georgian team. As at that time, the Georgian team were the 74th ranked country in world football, while the Portuguese team were the 7th ranked team. But that's not the story. 10 years before this year was this year was taken. This Ronaldo visited the Dinamo Tbilisi camp, the academy where they train teenagers, not even teenagers, boys in football. And he went to launch the academy. He was invited and he went there to launch the academy. 10 years after, these same guys, 10 people from this academy were in the squad that faced Portugal in Euros. Now, the backstory is that Georgia is not a footballing nation. 74 in maybe out of 150 is not good enough. You understand? But by the single act of what Ronaldo did here, he came to the camp, inspired the boys, and just suddenly these boys have a hero. They have someone to look up to. They have someone that they can say, this guy has done it. Ronaldo did it. He's one of the greatest players ever to ever play the sport. That single act that he did inspired the generation. And at the moment, we in that match, we had 10 players from this camp playing that match, and they won. That's not the story. They won. But the interesting thing is that a player here, Varaskelia, he plays for Napoli in Italy, is probably the best Georgian player at the moment. And he won his team the Scudetto. So when I say that when it comes to greatness, it's less about you. It's more about the ripple effect it has on people, on culture, on generations unborn. By this single act that Ronaldo did, he inspired a generation of boys to be footballers. And the fruit came 10 years down the line, and it's still coming. These guys play in top flight footballs. They play in top flight leagues, top flight clubs, and they cannot inspire other people. So that's it about greatness. When it comes to greatness, you have to inspire people to think that they can do what they don't think they can do. There is a template, there is a model, there is someone that's done it before. And so I'll end my talk like this. In everything that we are doing, the moments of greatness, it's not really about the end. It's about in those tiny bit of moments. What we do part time inspires people to be better people. The things that we achieve is not just about us, it's about other people. And they feel like, because this person can do it, I can also do it. This person has done it before, I can probably attempt and do it. Thank you. Thank you.